We got U-bolts, but I'm fairly positive these are the wrong size. They're definitely not 9/16, which might have been my fault. I have to look at the thing again. They're 1/2 inch for sure. There's no hardware, so there's no bolts, nuts or bolts or anything. Or I'm sorry, there's no nuts or washers or anything. It's just, oh, okay, here's the nuts here. Yeah, and these are the different size for sure. These are not the correct size. 1/2 inch, 20 is the bolt thread. Hold, please. So they sent me a pair that are the wrong size. So we got to return one pair. Let me confirm this one is right. And then we'll, yeah. I'm a little upset about this. However, this does mean I can get the car on the ground. So I guess I should be a little bit positive. Let me check this one. So that set fits, but the other set does not. So we're gonna have to return one set. And I guess they're probably not gonna send me the right set. I'm gonna have to order it again. They're not even the right size. Like I ordered 9/16, but they sent me 1/2 inch, which I'm sure is fine, but I wanted, you know, at least closer to the 5/8 that was sent with that kit. What a bummer! I waited for like days to get these, get them, and then I get one set that's wrong with no nuts in it. And then I get a set that's right, but the wrong diameter, which might be my fault. Anyway, we're getting the car on the ground today. I don't care. Basically, we'll fix it later on, but there's so much other stuff I want to do to the car, so we're gonna just do it, return these, and we'll get back to that at some other point.
"20 minutes later."
After all that, they did fit in diameter around the rear end housing, but I went to go install them and the threads are not long enough. So I got one wrong. I got one set that's completely wrong without any nuts. Then I got a set that fits, but it's the wrong diameter. Which might be my fault. I got to double check that. It probably is my fault. And then the thread length isn't long enough. So they're all going back. And I don't have U-bolts to put on my car now. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to clean up the ones that I have. And I'm going to buy one more from Barnes 4-wheel drive. And hopefully the other ones are fine. I'm literally only replacing the other ones as just like a precaution, because the other one did seize up and I did like a kind of a shitty job cutting it. But I didn't need to do it. So these are going back. Sorry. But I'm kind of thinking about trying the 3 U-bolt thing, but really want to get the car on the ground because there's other crap I want to do. We're back. So I packaged those up, I emailed Amazon, I got my return label, they're gonna pick them up tomorrow, and I went ahead and did the sketchy thing I didn't want to do. And we're gonna run 3 U-bolts right now so I can put this thing on the ground and start working on other stuff while I'm, waiting for the correct U-bolts. I'm gonna call Barnes 4-wheel drive today and just order them directly from them. But it's all bolted up. You can see the shocks all bolted up. Everything's all set. So we're gonna toss the wheels on. Right now I've just got the stockers. This does have disc brakes. This is a rear end, an 8.8 out of a 2001 Explorer. So it's gonna have disc brakes in the front and in the rear. So I'm not gonna be able to run these, but these are just to push it around on. So let's put the wheels on and we'll move this thing around, get it down on the ground. Yeah, and we'll go from there. But what a disaster. Anyway, see you in a second. As you can see, I'm standing where the Rambler used to be. We pushed it out into the driveway. It seems to be holding fine for right now. I'm not super happy about it. I'm a little bummed that the U-bolts didn't come in, but we got it pushed out into the driveway. So what we can do now is decide on where we're gonna go from here. I'm thinking we're gonna take a look at the front suspension. So we'll wheel it back in, and yeah, we'll take a look at that, and we'll do some reinforcement. I want to show you guys what it looks like anyway. Maybe we'll start taking it apart. We'll go from there. Yeah. So we just took the wheel off. I'm gonna show you the suspension really quick. I was trying to explain this in the first video, but I said the spring was below the shock mounting point, but it's actually the opposite. So like the shock is completely separate, and then there's like a spring perch that's connected to the hub all in one piece. Like, it's pretty interesting the way it's set up. I'm sure there's a lot of old cars that are set up like this, but I figured it'd be pretty cool to show, so I'm gonna show it to you really quick. Yeah. So yeah. Basically what I was saying before was, for some reason I had it mixed up, and I was saying that the spring itself was lower than the shock mounting point, but it's actually the other way around. Let me brighten this up a little bit. So you can see back here, the shock is connected to the lower control arm, and then it goes up and it's connected into the chassis. That's what I was showing you before with the new shocks, which are over here. I was showing you before that these shocks, the competition engineering shocks with each side, hold on, focus. Each side is a stud like this. So this is the bottom part of the shock, and it won't focus, but you get the point. That's the top of the shock. That's basically where it goes through the control arm, and then it goes up through the top of the chassis. And then the hub is right here, and here's where the actual hub bolts onto the spindle, I guess you would call it, or the knuckle, or whatever you guys are, drift guys call them knuckles mostly, but yeah, so this is your knuckle here with your tie rod, and when you go up, you can see that it's basically a floating spring on this spring perch here, and then here's the upper control arm. And the spring is connected to the upper control arm through this perch, and then the shock is connected to the lower control arm through the stud. So, yeah, basically, I just wanted to show, sorry, the light. I just wanted to show the way that looked, so that way you guys got, hold on. Let me get this back down again. Anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to show it so that way you guys knew what it looked like. I'm going to take it all apart and then we'll lay it out, and I'll kind of go through what I have an idea for. And we've got all the bushings to go in it and everything, so it should be pretty easy to take apart. It's really not that many parts. So we'll get to it, and I'll come back once I got them all laid out, and we'll go from there. I'm really glad I just realized this, but I need to pull the motor and trans out before I take the front suspension all apart. I got it rolling specifically because I needed to push the car out into the driveway a little bit, because I can't get my cherry picker in the garage and in the driveway at the same time. So I needed to get the car on all four wheels so I could roll it out and use the cherry picker to pull the motor and trans. So instead of doing the suspension, I'm going to put the wheel back on, and now I'm going to push it out, and then we're going to try and pull the motor and trans today. And that way we can pull the front suspension apart, I can finish the motor mounts, and we can go from there. I'm all over the place today, man. I'm having a tough time collecting my thoughts and getting everything done that I want to get done. So bear with me on this one. This one's kind of aggressive. I'm having a hard time today. But anyway, let's toss the wheel back on and push the car out and pull the motor and trans. And hopefully my dad is going to be here in a little bit. He said he wanted to work on his PT Cruiser today, so we'll probably do that a little bit, but hopefully he'll also help me pull the motor and trans out of this thing. Alright, I figured I'd stop for a second. I want to show you guys what it looks like while I'm pulling the motor out. It's a little ridiculous. I kind of have to get the cherry picker hooked up first in the section I want on the motor, and then once I get it hooked up, I have to put the jack through the center of the hoist, so basically right here, jack the car up and then put it on jack stands, because the cherry picker hits the lower control arms on the car. So yeah, anyway, I wanted to show you basically the plate that I've got, bolts down where the knock sensor cover goes, or whatever the cover they call that, I don't remember, but anyway, yeah, so it's all jacked up, got some jack stands underneath it, got the cherry picker ready to go, and yeah, we're gonna pull this thing out. But just wanted to show you that real quick. It's annoying to try and do this. It's just because the control arms are too low. If the control arms sat a little higher, the cherry picker would go right under it, but it doesn't, so I have to jack it up and do all kinds of crazy crap. But anyway, let's pull the motor out. I'm not going to show you guys the whole process of pulling the motor out, just because I don't want to drop it on camera and then hurt myself and then end up on like America's Funniest Home Videos. So I'm going to do it off camera, but I'll see you in a second. Motor is out, and it's over here on the cherry picker still. Just pulled it all out. It's all good now. So we can finish welding up those motor mounts. Same with over here. These are just tacked together, so we can get those welded up. I'm gonna separate it. I've got this little pallet over here that's on wheels. I'm gonna separate the motor and the trans. We'll put the motor back on the stand, and we'll put the trans on the pallet, and so that way I can move it around and get it out of my way and stuff. But that motor is empty, so it needs to be rebuilt and everything anyway. But now we can work on the front suspension, finish welding up those motor mounts, and we might take them all together, and I'll show all that. I don't know if we're gonna do it in this video, but maybe the next one, so that way I have something entertaining to say for the next one. But yeah, anyway, I'll wrap this up here in a minute. It's a lot of work by yourself. It kind of sucks, but hey, gotta get it done, so I got it done. Anyway, see you in a minute. It's on the stand. I had to run to Ace to get some bolts, put the motor on the stand. I don't know why I have this issue, but I constantly buy bolts to put motors on engine stands, and I either one, lose them, or two, I get the wrong size every single time. But anyway, my dad's here.
Off. Off.
Dad, say hi.
Hey. Off. Off.
Off.
What are you doing?
I'm filming. What?
You filming a PT Crusher episode?
Kids and these newfangled technologies? Is that what weirds you out about this whole thing?
No, it's cool. That's my music, bro.
Here's the motor. I had to shut it off.
You shut it off?
Yeah.
The fuck out of here. What the fuck's the matter with you?
Copyright, bro.
Copyright?
Yeah.
This shit's, the music almost is 50 freaking years old.
Somebody still owns it.
Copyright guys are dead.
Somebody still owns it.
Yeah, me.
You don't own it.
Listen up.
You'd be really rich if you owned it. Now everything's gonna be bleeped out from here.
I have that guy's number for the machine shop, but I don't know what to do with it.
Alright, I had to come inside to finish off this video. My dad refuses to shut the music off, and just because it's 50s and 60s music, he thinks that there is no copyright. He owns the music, it's too old. So, anyway, I'm back inside. I'm gonna have some lunch, some venison heart sandwiches. I know, it's awesome. But yeah, we'll come back. I'm gonna do the front suspension, motor's out, transmission's out. We'll go over everything. But yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Just stay tuned and we'll get some more videos out. Thanks again for watching, I appreciate it.